anotado.
Perfecto.
Sí, sí, aunque en realidad, actually, we should better speak in English. I will tell you why. We are going to talk things about the conference that Lynn Kearney is also interested in, so I don't want to overexert her Spanish. She might have less problems than I guess.
We'll talk about problem-based learning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's an old specialty of our home countries, no?
Yes.
Okay, so I have this video conference with Cristina Gil, who's the coordinator in charge of the Barcelona conference with us. And she was very interested in the idea of focusing the 3 days into discussing a specific application in the city. So her idea was there is an area called arroba 25, which is a neighborhood where they have a typical problem of subsystems that do not talk to each other. Mm-hmm. So they are in favor precisely of a systemic approach like we favor in city doctors, whereas the city usually approaches projects with emphasis on one subsystem, for example, creating jobs or education or infrastructure or security or tourism. So that will be a plus for them. I told Cristina that the idea is for them to, I asked them, okay, look for which topic will be of more impact for Barcelona. And we can arrange a meeting with Ingrid. So we do a threesome on video, mm-hmm. And she can discuss with you more in detail the case she thinks would be interesting to work with.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the one of the two news. This is going, so they're going probably to let me know next week. And based on that, the other thing they wanted, and it's also related with you, is to have some kind of images from Seattle, from the award ceremony, because they were interested in learning about how it was received. I told Cristina that you were the MC at the event. So you are the right person for them to know. So I guess they wanted images and some comment. So maybe what we can arrange is if you have images to send it.
Yeah. I don't have images, but ISPI might have images. And I don't know how much, they certainly have pictures.
Yeah, that would work. It's just, I guess it's for them to put in the internal house organ.
Sure.
Huh? And
yes.
We can see if they are more interested. Maybe you can make a little video telling them about how the Barcelona Activa award was received there. Mm-hmm. It's just part of the return on investment.
Yes, no, I understood.
Okay, number 3, before I forget the other things, is Lynn Kearney, who works in the second day with John Lazar, mm-hmm. is concerned actually, with the cost. Her budget is rather limited, and the places that we recommended are in the $200 to $300 a day range. So I suggested her that maybe you may be going to share a room with her in a hotel. Mm-hmm. So you can choose a good place close to the conference and split the cost of housing. But I told her I'm going to ask Ingrid first. So
okay. I don't know, only because I get up at 4 a.m. every day and have my routine. So I'm probably not a normal person to room with. She might get scared. I'd love to spend time with her. But I don't know. I guess if we get a suite, I don't know if the cost will be more economical if we get a suite that has 2 rooms.
Maybe,
So
maybe
we can look
because
into that.
okay, uh, let me see. How can I make this work between you and her? Yeah, having a suite or a kind of place with 2 rooms. The problem is, I suggested using Airbnb, but Monique Mueller said don't use Airbnb because the conference is going to catch an Airbnb,
Right.
kind of.
Correct. We would be biased.
Yeah, we would be very like
We would not be able to sign a conflict of interest form.
exactly. It's like going to a peace talk in Middle East and say, well, I've been in Jerusalem. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I'll touch base with Lynn, and I'll
oh,
see about a couple of. I think I have her contact information, so I'll look for a couple of options, and see. I don't know if because the cost is also going to go up if we get a suite. So I will touch base. But I know I have very odd hours. I need to get up very early and do work before I start work, and somewhere in between exercise, and so.
okay.
Yeah, it's a very odd routine. From 4 to 6, I must work. From 6 to 7:30, I must exercise, and then I can join the world.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, too much information, but be
Oh, no,
warned.
no. My guess is that Vin is going to be completely unaware of that, unless, yes, you are in the same room. That may make. But you don't need a sound for your exertions. My guess is that Vin looks like not like a morning person, but uh,
But
it's not
I'll look for
everything
some
that I.
options as well. Did
Yeah.
Was Damien able to give you some suggestions as well?
Yes, I will send it what he sent to me, and I will put you in contact with him. Today my cell phone died, so I'm out of WhatsApp. But I don't know if I shared Demian WhatsApp contact with you. Otherwise, I have to recover. Probably will change the phone.
It's not urgent. We have until November, so I think it
Yeah,
can
yeah,
wait
yeah.
someday.
Demian works for Melia, so so he can find options. But I suggest if you take the lead and look for places within, let's say, probably $300 range, you will find suites or places that have like a 2 room, and then you can talk with Lynn. If you can do it for me, that will be great because that way I'm not doing
In the
the.
middle.
Yeah, and actually this is a room and talk. So.
Okay, very good.
It makes sense. Unfortunately, my place in Barcelona has only 1 bedroom, so no, I don't have a lot of options there. But
No
I know
problem.
there are tons of them. What happens is, you have all from what they call it, this lodging for students. Fascinating. I don't remember now. Where you can have all kinds of very low cost, but
Oh, hostels?
yeah, hostels exactly. And but in hostels you are exposed to
A lot.
yes,
Been there, done that, but I was very young, so.
exactly. The exercise part will have no problem. The time frame neither.
Well,
Uh,
they will just be actually they wouldn't even be going to bed yet, and I would already be up.
oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can jog your way to the disco and back. And I carry some people fainting after.
how times have changed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's over. Now it's all I let you tell me your thoughts, your.
I mean, it's not so much thoughts as the initial piece. I think that's pretty clear, and I'm assuming that correct me if I'm wrong. We talked about design thinking, and is that kind of a theme for?
Not necessarily. Actually, let me go to. Our theme is basically the. Oh, I clicked on the wrong place. Our theme is basically what we call city doctors, which is looking at the city as a system, where all the parts are, I would say, connected in different ways.
Sure.
So one of the things that does is that we have impacts, reciprocal. So the idea is, first A is learning to differentiate and identify needs, wants, and make analysis and assessment.
Sure.
With the head and with the feet. So putting our eyes on the street, that will be the idea of the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to the.
Yeah. So, no, I just wondered because I saw design thinking.
Yeah, I use that name, but the idea of the second day is with the material and the points, the needs they identify, to work with Lynn and Joe Lazar in using design thinking tools and coaching processes to find ways unorthodox ways to address the problems.
Right. And that's part, the reason I asked about that is because the way that I approach now needs assessment has grown quite a bit since my work with Roger. And so I use a lot of, I guess we could call participatory approaches or engagement approaches. All those things are really design thinking terminology. And so even though that's kind of housed around design thinking in today's terms, it's really all based on systems thinking and participation, kind of a participatory engagement of stakeholders. So I just wanted to get that theme clear because I also saw prototyping, which is another common term in design thinking. And so as I was looking at the agenda, I thought, well, it concludes with prototyping, and I couldn't help but think the learning systems are not in here. And, the learning systems are an important component of tracking how these prototypes are evolving and how they should be evolving over time. But if we don't catch, what is being accomplished, what expected progress is occurring, if we don't catch it early on, then we could end up somewhere very different.
Here is where this comes in. So the idea of having a conference that is part on site and part online is addressing the process that in 3 days we can basically cover, let's say, uncover problems and ideas, but how can we engage in processes that allows us to do all the cycles that are required in order to really put that to work. So the idea was that we offer a 3 months process, engaging in a 3 months process later in the platform to work the projects that appear as prototypes, if you want, or proposals. That will be the I would say the compromise answer to that question. I don't know why my computer turned that black.
Okay. So is the way to introduce that topic, because I often introduce that topic as we are considering, part of the exploration is not just to look at the needs and analyze the needs and understand, what the root causes are, how they might influence one another, but to also begin to develop design specifications for the solutions.
Excellent.
And so that cuts it, because you can't end the process sharply between the analysis and the solution, or the identification of design specifications.
Yes.
So we will go into that somewhat in the way that I'm approaching the needs assessment. And as far as format, how does the format work? Will the format be such that we have the actual stakeholders in the room with us and we're actually kind of walking them through a process? Or are we really just presenting to the people that are there how we would go about analyzing the needs?
Well, it's hard to know right now, but we are going to know when we talk with Cristina about the chances of involving in this conference some stakeholders. She asked me if it was open or closed only to ISPA members, and I told her that basically the small format was to make sure that we can have an intense collaboration. But we don't have a requirement that you have to be an ISPI member or in the field. Now, going back to what you said, I think that overlapping the sessions is here a very good idea, because we are actually working on one thing that is a problem in a city. So we have to revisit the problem and change the traditional approach, linear approach, to a circular approach, or a helix, if you want, that we are basically revisiting the definition of the need as we progress in designing, and also prototyping invites to discover new things that we didn't know until we tried. So that's why I thought it was this was pure intuition that the best thing we can have is a team that people who are very compatible in terms of ability to work with each other. So we have been together, working together in Mexico, but I thought Lincoln is also very game to this kind of thing. So the idea is, for example, Lynn and John are going to take the design process in two areas. Lynn will take more the visualization and the if you want the conceptual part, and John is going to take the relationship and conflict part. Because when you see people to discuss problems of cities, just imagine sitting homeowners that want to rent through Airbnb and extract more money from their property and pay their taxes, and renters who are, crowded out, priced out of the market. So without a good set of coaching or some model to help people listen to each other and collaborate, those sessions could be shouting matches as they usually are.
Sure.
So having a coach and a designer, so helping them to see and listen would be basically complementary. So I thought maybe putting first one and second the other is misleading. I suggest them, why don't you work together and decide, maybe you want to be both in the room and work both sides, and then in the afternoon you can do it. Oh, hola.
Venga, salude.
¿Qué tal, Diego?
Diga, hola, Mariano, ese es Diego.
Hola. Ay. Hola, Diego. Qué bien, qué grande que estás.
Gracias.
Bueno, papito.
No.
Después hablamos, ¿ok? Love you, hon. Disculpa. Es que acaban de llegar de la escuela.
Al contrario, gracias. Qué lindo, está precioso.
Mi chiquito ya me alcanza. Si me paro, lo vas a ver que me
wow.
Ya casi me alcanza. Pero bien. Vamos a ver si me sigue cabiendo en la burbuja que te comenté.
Sí, eso. Vas a tener que hacer unos rediseños, me parece.
Tú sabes. Anyway, okay. Entonces, sorry, going back to English. So, a according to the time, because there's about an hour and 15 minutes, then I'm assuming that really the initial approach is kind of a presentation format where you present the approach.
Yes, and the times you see there are subject to review. So what is the idea? To make the opening, maybe is the mayor of Barcelona going to be there, otherwise would be the director of Barcelona Activa. We basically make expectations for before, so we can know what are the topics that are interesting for those attending, and present the mega city doctors. Now, you see, needs assessment Barcelona Activa. Barcelona asked me, what is NA? I say, okay, that's jargon. The idea was, okay, we are trying to present a case, so we can work that out.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Going back to the jargon, in some circles, needs assessment is perfect and clear and allows me to do what I need to do. You know, in other circles, I find that it doesn't really connect with people. And
Yes.
so I've used a lot this idea of problem definition or, you know, problem analysis.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about that. Does that resonate more with people? Does that create more interest, more relevance? Does it kind of, you know, tune into a schema that is familiar to them?
Yes, yes. I think that problem or situation, yeah. I like the idea. At first,
Sorry.
oh.
I need to lock my door. This is Marco.
Oh.
Bye.
See you, bye.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to close my door. Mi amor, dile a tu papá porque estoy en una reunión, papi. Ahora no puedo.
El acceso a la mami es muy difícil.
Es que inclusive iba a parar en la biblioteca y me iba a encerrar uno de los cuartos que está disponible en la biblioteca, pero no los tenían disponible, entonces me vine para acá. Bueno, the door is now locked.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's more you will not find them. Otherwise, they're going to appear somewhere. Like aliens, remember?
You're very familiar with these issues, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Look at this. Speaking about, oh, okay. This is the Texas call. Let me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Oh, yes, exactly. I wanted to make sure that everything was clear because I spoke with a person for a translation of a articles of incorporation document belonging to Mariano Bernardez, and that was supposed to be turned over tomorrow, notarized and translated in Chicago, so I can do the apostille here. They told me that was okay. I was going to receive a quote. That I didn't. So, no. Yeah, I guess so. I did that. I went to the building. It was just a place to pick up. I thought that it was your office in 55 Monroe. And left there the email address, but I didn't receive anything yet. Yes, it's T as in Tom, R as in Richard, S as in Susan, 347 at gmail.com. DRS347 at gmail.com. And right now, in front of my okay. So I'm in middle of a meeting right now. What I want to know is if you can give me the quote now, I can tell you yes or no. No, I don't have it here, and I cannot access right now. It's clearly not here. I'm looking at spam. STA, no, that's. Okay, I cannot see it here. So, yes. Mm, okay. Yeah, notarized for presenting here in Chicago. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's okay. Okay. Okay, we'll do that, and otherwise I can call you back later. Okay. But it will be ready tomorrow in Chicago. That's a key point. Otherwise, the reason I'm asking for this expedite process is because I need it tomorrow in Chicago, so I can go to the city hall and do the rest of it. It's okay? Wonderful. Okay, I will check, and if I don't find it, I will call you back. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Likewise. Sorry, but this is this is the craziest thing. We had this project in Buenos Aires with World Bank, and they needed the articles of incorporation of the institute first certify apostille, and then now they want to translate it into Spanish, but it has to be translated in the United States and re-apostille. So the apostille of the translation. And the guys who do this are somewhere else. You know?
Yeah, it sounds like something the World Bank would want.
Yeah, exactly. And people in Buenos Aires said, you know, Mariano, we have been here before, so they are okay. They are helping us, but.
Te tengo que comentar algo chistoso. Ahora mi esposo le dice a Marco, ¿para qué te pones a interrumpir? ¿No ve que tu mamá está en el teléfono? Le dice, no, pero mi mamá no está en reunión, está hablando con el tío.
Gracias, decirle de mi parte.
Seguramente te escuchó hablando en español y asumió, no, pues es un familiar.
Claro, claro. Este no puede ser.
Anyway.
Familia. Okay. Sí. We are actually.
Yes. We go back a long way.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we were talking about the needs assessment and the problem definition. And I was curious to hear what you think and what your impression is, and whether that makes a difference as far as getting interest and having people understand what we're doing.
I think so. And let me confess that this is just something, a draft I wrote for us internally. The idea is I want every one of those who participate to draft it, redraft it in a way that reflects their purpose, their views, and also we are going to put a Spanish version, of course. Yes, the answer is feel free to. I would suggest this: take these and rearrange day one in a way that you think makes more sense, with, rebaptizing the concepts. Yeah, but I like problem identification or problem analysis better than needs assess. I think that a lot of the words we use are
Jargon.
too, yeah, exactly, some too technical. Even when I say city doctors, that I thought, oh, this is going to be, no, people think that we are going to do a symposium on
Urban medicine.
amygdalectomy.
Well, you know what? Actually, I have an idea. If now thinking about city doctors, this could be more, what we do, what we call it. It could be diagnostic.
Oh, yeah, perfect. And that actually, yeah, is easier. It's a single word. Everybody, diagnostic is always, yeah,
Universal.
claro, claro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it. I
Okay.
like it because exactly. I mean, the idea of city doctor came also from the idea of how complex the body of a human being is.
Systems, absolutely.
It's the same way. I mean, this person is not feeling well, but we really don't know. So why don't you start by looking closer to,
Exactly.
huh? And that's the idea. Even the afternoon. The idea of the afternoon is when we talk with Barcelona Activa. If you have you have probably this week and the next week time to figure out your way to address this, so we can eventually send this to Cristina, schedule a video conference, and then go through her ideas about what problem is the one she thinks is more interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
So we can discuss more.
I will be in Egypt as of Monday for 2 weeks.
Oh,
So it's going to be a little difficult to connect because I'm going to be working during the day.
okay. I take that. So it's okay because Cristina is probably going to answer kind of fast, but no sooner than next week. And that will be more information for you. So
Okay.
you can get that while you go down the Nile. And, and the guys behind you are moving.
I will not
I
be.
don't know why I have that image. It's so wonderful.
You know what? It sounds fabulous, but unfortunately, it's not the place that I want to go sightseeing by myself. So I will just be working. And then straight back to the hotel.
Yeah. Well, but you are close enough to.
Yeah. And I can always look up the pyramids on YouTube, so it'll be okay.
Yes. My mind is now. Are you familiar with Steve Martin's King Tut?
I think so. Did
Remember?
he do a Saturday Night Live or something?
Yes, it was a sketch where when he was slim and young, and he was dressed up like King Tut, and he was dancing in always walking on the side.
I do remember that.
Just Google that in YouTube, you will see.
I do remember that.
Like,
I'm going to have to show that to my kids.
oh, yeah.
It's how they know now about Grey Poupon.
Ah.
So whenever they want something fancy, I said, would you like some Grey Poupon? And now they understand what that means. So, okay. So, yeah. So should I put together then are you looking to, what would you like from me as far as what would be helpful, what you plan to send to Cristina?
If you can rewrite whatever you think would make this day one more clear in terms of what you are going to present, or even you can write a paragraph describing the approach, that will help Cristina more.
Perfect.
But I will wait to receive from her information about where and what, and I will forward that to you and then schedule a meeting so we can get together to, so because my impression is that they're a very, she told me, we are not a research agency, we are an executive agency. We are in everything practical that has to be done in the city, from jobs, from companies, and so they they value this as an opportunity to think about, but they have problems understanding theory or concept at certain level. So if we can identify what qué les duele, it's easier to then explain them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what we are trying to do or how we operate. It's like if a doctor says,
Yeah.
let me explain you my specialty, then you can tell me your problems.
I think that's really important, because, you know, we're not experts in everything, and we don't have to be, right? We have a methodology that we can use to diagnose the system, but I think it is very helpful for the patient to say it hurts here, it hurts there, so we know where to begin to look. Yes. Otherwise, we can really go, you know, in circles and not really drill down on the areas that are most relevant. So I think that that's really important, getting a sense of what their priority issues are. In the approach that I use to do that diagnostic, that's the entryway to engage your stakeholders, is to talk about the things that they care about and are relevant, and to have some idea, begin to map where in the system does that pain exist. You know, what are other actors feeling? Where do they feel the pain? And then map it in a way that shows them it's not that, you know, it's not that these things are completely unrelated and you care about different things. It's that you're looking at, you know, the same body, but you're looking at it from a different point of view. So you're feeling the different pain point, right, separately. But the idea is to then map that for them and understand that if we address everybody's concerns, the whole thing will improve.
It sounds great because I can picture, first, if you see the ISPA expectations, actually that's something we can work afterwards. The idea is, if you can produce the first aid and the identification of all the pain points, and we can work about possible connections, then the second day, we can also work in starting to analyze, well, what's the relationship between my headache and my stomach?
Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to figure out, if we have an hour and 15 minutes, approximately, let's say an hour and a half, or even 2 hours, you know, if we have people, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have a day.
I have the whole day.
Yes, because what I put there, you see performance architecture and culture, systemic view. I still don't have any response from Roger Addison or Klaus, but if they were to participate, would be a reference to, they play with the word architecture, but in a different way. So the idea is to introduce the notion that form follow function, in the sense that in order to get performance, social performance, we have to subordinate architecture and other specialties to a systemic view. But the idea is that the exploration in the afternoon and the exploration tech will be part of your
Good.
Okay, so I want to,
because yeah. I can take, if we have all the stakeholders, I can do kind of a workshop deal and include them, go through the actual process, and by the end of the day have enough analysis to start to map some of those issues.
Exactly. And I want you to work with Barcelona Activa as your clients, let's put it this way, in this engagement, because they will provide you, okay, this is where we think we need help to think about. Or this is something where we are interested in doing things better. And so they will help to obviously guide us to the place, because there is exploration mean also to walk, to use eyes on the street, and talk with people maybe, or we will know whom should we engage
Yeah.
from them, but they will be the conduit to, and they are the face of the city for these people.
Yeah, I think, we can make something that has a lot of impact. I mean, it almost then kind of crosses the line to kind of a guided consulting engagement, right? Because we are going through the process, but it requires for us to have some literature ahead of time, do some analysis ahead of, just to kind of have an understanding of who the players are, because they would need to invite. So maybe it's not the citizens in the corner, but maybe it's the representative of a city group. I'm sorry, of a citizen group.
Oh yeah.
That at least can be there, can kind of give us a sense, although if it's a formalized institution, they don't always really have the best interests of the common folks in the street.
Well, you will find that there is a multitude of different characters. What I'm going to do is, I don't know if I did it, but there are a couple of books on Barcelona, contemporary problems, political and social, that I think are interesting. One of them is in Spanish, and it's about tourism, which is one of the big sources of income, revenue, and success for Barcelona, and a big headache, because Airbnb is turning upside down the market, and Barcelona is flooded with much more people they can handle. It's becoming like Venice, and because it's so successful that nobody can live there, or rents are going San Francisco way, which explains the housing problem. And now the mayor, and I will send you those two. The mayor, Ana Colau, became mayor, first woman mayor, not belonging to any of the two main parties, because she started as a representative or community organizer representing people who were in the housing crisis, not only lose their homes, repossessed, but the banks still wanted the mortgage to be paid. They didn't have jobs, they didn't have the house, and they had to pay a remainder of the value to the bank. So people took to the streets, and Ana Colau became a leader, wrote a book, and became elected mayor. So they they have been through this kind of process. So I think that will give you an idea of how many different sides are. This is a very forward-thinking city. It's also a city with two languages. It's a city that wants to be part of Spain and not be part of Spain. It's a city that is very attractive for the rest of the world and always has been open to the rest of the world, but now they are discovering that they have problems with that. So I'm sure if you talk with two Catalanes, you will find four opinions. And that's what makes so important to have new tools to think the problems and see the problem on the ground. So I'm going to send you that. I think that the 2 or 3 books are in Spanish on Kindle, and you may want to take a look. And of course, whatever Cristina sends me, which will be more focused on, okay, this is exactly the point where we, Barcelona Activa, want to you to work on.
Okay.
So that will be some reading for the road.
Yes, because I have no other reading for the road.
No, I imagine.
No, but it's okay. I mean, I want to have some good context because the better the context I have, the more that we can mold the process in a way that's useful and relevant. And it's more fun than doing something purely theoretical.
Exactly. This is a real puzzle because it mixes all these, and of course, the guy who's in charge of Barrio 31, Buenos Aires, which is another problem, but very similar in many ways because of the complexity, politics and social issues in the middle, is coming as well. And it's interesting because they all had to engage with very conflicted stakeholders. So they have to find ways to move forward by rearranging the problems, because otherwise it's like a stalemate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't think that I've had to deal with very contemptuous issues like just, real. I've dealt with a lot of different issues, but I don't think that I've had like that kind of animosity in the same room.
Well,
wrecked.
And
this may not be that either.
Yeah, no, but it's true. And what happens is cities are places where people debate property rights. That's the problem with cities. It's like we are talking about your home, your children's school, the place where your family lives. So it becomes very, very fast and very easy a very, very charge of interest and painful divisions. So even if they don't have any problems of other kind, you have renters and landlords. Well, and then you have visitors and residents. And you have, all these other connections, and then they have also immigration and all the other things together. One thing that I don't want to forget, I mentioned, just for you to start gathering, you will see an example I picked up, I put in the website from Detroit. And it was an interesting, and if it's not Wayne State University, le pego en el postre, as they say.
It might be.
Yeah, because it was very interesting how it was. I put it in prototyping, but I think it's also in design, but maybe it should be before. It's just a sequence that shows how different residents in Detroit discuss how to reorganize their block. Is where things are, where that they should be, and I thought it was really, really a good example because it was very visual, but then again, you have in every city. I thought Detroit is a good example of a city that is coming back from a lot of travel and is
It's amazing.
No?
It's amazing to walk through the streets. It's been gradual, but then it was exponential.
Okay.
And, what you see, people walking their dogs, families, you haven't seen families there in decades unless they're the, poor African-American inner city folks. Now you have artists, you have these ginormous buildings with murals that local artists have painted. You have a very distinct Detroit vibe. It's not Chicago, it's not New York, it's not LA, but man, it's Detroit, and it's Detroit cool, So there's a new pride that people have. There are grocery stores. You couldn't live there because there were no grocery stores. And so people from the suburbs are going to have dinner in the hot spots. College students are no longer leaving at on Friday to go do their laundry at home, or at the end of the semester. They're sticking around. There's stuff to do. So it's really interesting to see even parking. I have Detroit City parking in my phone. And it's so easy to pay when I park on the street and I have the timer on my phone that I can check. It makes me want to go. So it's all these little things and big things all at once. And it's really interesting.
Oh, that sounds, well, there, number one, collect all that, because that is part of the background that will help you to make things visible or explain things to people anywhere. Well, because you are talking city.
Mm-hmm.
So Detroit, Buenos Aires, Barcelona, they have a lot of things in common, and you can see sometimes examples or anecdotes or how fast things can change for the good when they seem doomed.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in Buenos Aires, and I think that Barcelona is now going through a process of through several shocks, and now is going through a process of fixing and resolving problems. So that experience will be great if you can also use it as reference. I put it there on purpose.
Good. Yeah, it gives me.
You with Detroit.
I get it.
Great.
Good. So then, would you like me to send you my approach before you speak to Christina?
Oh yes. So I'm in aligned. Yeah. So I have an idea of what are you thinking, and I can explain to Christina. I will tell Christina also when you send me a possible schedule for you, so I can propose Christina. That will give her also a time frame to work with that part. I can arrange
for a conference call.
Yeah. Mostly so we can the three interact and then this way, no? So it hasn't to be fast like that. I can do other things. What should be, I will appreciate a lot if you do is if you can talk with Lynn, so you can see if there is a way. I will let Demian know as soon as I record my phone. I hate to be phone dependent, but unfortunately,
we all are. You know what? I think that I saw the venue and then I could not see the venue. So can you remind me what the venue is where we're having the?
Oh, the place. Let me go to the Barcelona. Okay. Experiencer. I think in registration is the place. My computer is going.
And also, you know how you have smart cities there?
Yeah.
Did you put smart cities on purpose? The title, you know that it's being used for connecting all the information systems and all the data?
Yes. Because also Barcelona is one of the leaders among the smart cities. If you look at the experiences I put several in smart cities. There is a tab here, experiences. You will find Barcelona and Barcelona Smart City. This is the hotel, the preliminary hotel. We are going to be around here, where the pin is.
Oh, okay.
And Barcelona is really nearby, Barcelona Activa. But this is one, so Barcelona is really small. So we are downtown, but this you can see the distance walking there.
Mm-hmm.
Within that radius, I imagine there are several.
Sure.
So even if you click there, it goes to the hotel booking.com page. and they are,
Everything that's nearby.
yeah, yeah. So it's a matter of looking at the.
Okay.
You have the advantage, obviously, of also the language. Lynn was kind of suggest me where. Okay, and this is
Good. I'll take a look when I have a moment and share some things that I find with her.
wonderful. Great. I will send this to you only, so you have the summary of what we talked.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
So I will send you the narrative. I'm working on a few things. If I can squeeze it in today, I will. Otherwise, it might be in a couple days.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Very good.
Great.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk with you always. I'm excited to see what comes of this. And I'll give you, my idea would really be to use the day as kind of a workshop with the key stakeholders in defining some of the issues. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Although I would need time individually first to kind of, yeah. So okay, let me give it some thought.
Perfect. Perfect. And say hello to Diego and all the great people. You vino con premio esta.
Sí, con dos bonus.
El tío lo saluda.
I will do that. Saludos del tío.
No.
Bueno, Mariano, un abrazo muy fuerte. Me alegro que estés bien. Sigue así.
Okay.
Y nos estamos comunicando.
Igualmente, Ingrid. Hasta luego.
Chao, que estés bien.